Hey folks, Nick Harrington here, and I am switching it up today. I am in the kitchen, and what I want to do today is I want to show you my favorite way to make fish. This is probably the easiest way to make fish. Obviously, there's a lot of different variations you can do, but what I'm going to do is just show you the most basic frying method, and I'm going to show you some of the tricks that I use to make my frying fish a little bit easier, and you can incorporate whatever recipes, routines, techniques you want to do for yours. But let's get started here with the breading. So I'm a big Ziploc bag proponent here, mainly because it minimizes dishes and it works really good on the move. So I'm going to make my own batter here. So what I am going to do is I am going to start with some cornmeal, just some plain old yellow cornmeal here. And apologies, I've never tried to film a cooking show before, so we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to go a little bit heavy on it just for the sake of the show, but that's kind of my base, good plain old yellow cornmeal. So again, easily found any grocery store. All this stuff is super simple. So cornmeal, first step, I got that in my bag. I don't know, a little bit, not a ton, not a little. That's precise, Nick. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go with some Hy-Vee breadcrumbs, just regular breadcrumbs here. Same thing, just gonna put that in my mix. Just a couple different textures. I used up, I'll just use up the rest of that. So a couple different textures here between the cornmeal and the breadcrumb. And now I'm gonna use a little bit of the store-bought stuff. So we're gonna go Louisiana fish fry. This is great. It's kind of more flour based. So what I recommend is you kind of get yourself like a variety. So when you look at this batter bag, I'll call it. So I've got the cornmeal, I've got the Louisiana fish fry. I've just got a lot of stuff going on in here. And the nice thing is, especially if you've got non-fish eaters, texture is like the big challenge for a lot of folks. So this is kind of more flour based. It gives you a really good coating, it gives you a really good batter. And then you hit the cornmeal, you're gonna hit the breadcrumbs. So you can see a couple different textures, a couple different colors in here. Shake that all up together. We're getting pretty dang close. Gonna throw a little bit more cornmeal in here. The other thing you can do, Ritz crackers, Kick cereal, or Goldfish. Especially if you got non-fish eaters, that just really adds to the texture. I am not doing that today because I am a fish eater, and I have a little bit different goal for what I'm looking to do with this particular batch of fish. You can kind of see the bread. I don't feel it too much. Now what I'm making today, I'm making what I call my Hawaiian fish. We got a lot of stuff going on here. Obviously not Hawaiian. I just caught these walleyes about an hour ago. So I'm going to just take some lemon pepper seasoning. I'm just going to throw it in the bag with it. Pretty, without a care in the world. Just kind of throw a little bit in there. That's going to give me, now we're kind of getting into the flavor. So the bag itself had been pretty bland, but strong whack of lemon pepper. And then I'm going to do a little bit, this is South Dakota-based company, Lone Wolf Spices, their GPS. I'm going to throw just a little bit in here. But you're going to see, this has like Hawaiian stuff on it. That's why I call it my Hawaiian walleye. That's like, we got Hawaiian black lava sea salt, coarse sea salt, Hawaiian pink sea salt, Himalayan pink sea salt. So we'll throw it all in there. And then I even got another one here. But we're going to break this in. This is Grandma Delicacies blackened seasoning. They're out of Box Elder here, so a couple South Dakota companies repping right here, and we're gonna get a little bit more here, but you can kind of see this is my batter bag. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mix it up. Again, could add Ritz crackers, could add others, but this is how I'm doing it today, just for the sake of show, and because I have not eaten today. I just got off the water. I am super hungry, so I'm gonna devour this fish as soon as the video's done, if I even make it through the video. So, well, again, thanks for bearing with me. Never done a cooking video, but we're working at it. At this point, I have cheated a little. I have got things pre-made, but I got this at $3.75. Big thing I want to point out, though, I don't have a lot of oil in there. I'm just using some Sam's Club canola oil, but I don't have a lot of it. I want to use as little oil as I can possibly get away with, and I want to get it pretty hot. So I got my electric burner here, just right, $3.75, between $3.50, $400. So I want to get this hot, and I got this going on while I take care of the rest of the fish. Another important step here, this is my fish fillets. I have done a couple things. You can see that I have washed them and then I put paper towels on them to get them super dry. You will also see I have cut them into pieces. This makes it a little bit easier to handle, a little bit easier to fry. And again, just kind of depends on how you want to cook for your folks. But I personally think it's a little easier to fry and handle them like this. The one thing I do want to point out though, you see how I've cut them like this? When it comes to your daily limit, it's only by piece. So what I really have here, I have technically 4 walleyes, but it would count as 2 fillets per such. So you got to do this at home. You can't do it at the fish cleaning station, or you technically would be in violation when you're transporting. Okay, so I've got my walleyes here. I've cut them up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my dry pieces. I'm going to throw them into an extra Ziploc bag. I'm going to call this my egg bag. I always want to soak my fish in egg before I fry it. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get all these pieces into here. Again, if you do any cutting like this, it's same thing like the zipper method or anything like that. I know there's a few out there. You got to make sure that your fish are still 2 fillets per fish. That way you're legally transporting back and from the ramp. You don't want to get any trouble there. Now it is egg time, so I have got my Ziploc bag full of fish. It's egg time. Let's see how I crack eggs on camera. Anxious as can be. I've never done a cooking thing like this before, though I do want to thank everybody that came and saw me at the state fair and saw me clean fish for everybody. That went super good, so I was pretty pleased with how that went. So thank you for the folks that come there. But I go pretty serious on the egg. I usually use 6. I'm going to use 7 today. Big reason is because this is the last day my eggs are good. So, and I had 7, so I'm just going to use all 7. So that's kind of how I look at it. But very important to get the fish covered in egg. Takes a little bit of that gamey taste out, but also, I don't know, I thought it might have had a chicken in it for a second. It didn't. And yes, you can say Nick knows no idea how food and cooking works. I can live with that. So, got my eggs. Got them all cracked here. Successfully managed that situation. This could be the messiest video I've ever filmed too. I'm trying to keep my kitchen clean, my phone clean, my tripod clean, my mic clean, everything clean in this ordeal. And I just got the fryer getting hot, and now I'm just going to shake it up. I want to get a good coverage right here. Just shake all that egg into the fish. I like throwing the fish in and then cracking the egg on top of it. Don't know if it makes any sort of difference whatsoever, but I feel like it does, so that means that it does, is kind of how I look at things. Again, I'm a surprisingly good cook when you look at me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I am a good cook. But I'm doing my best to show you today, because fish is one of my favorite things to make, mainly because, like I said, this is as fresh as it gets. And you're also allowed to judge my kitchen as much as you wish. Again, we kind of switched angles here. So, egg bag. Now we're going to go frying bag. Same thing. I'm just going to take this fish. I do all this in the sink too, so that's the angle you got now. I'm just keeping it all in the sink. I'm sorry, I was trying to film with my gimbal earlier today out on the water, and it quit working right in the middle of a big catch. And, yeah, now I can't even make it work in my kitchen. So a little frustrated at that. But yeah, you can see I'm just throwing my fish into my bag, kind of slop it up a little bit. The pieces, when I cut them into pieces, it is a little easier to forget one in the bag. So just remember that. Again, things get a little messy over here, but that's okay. That's all right if we get a little messy in the kitchen from time to time. You're going to crack a few eggs and be making an omelet. I don't eat omelets, but you just saw me crack 7 eggs. So clearly, I know a thing or two about cracking eggs. Again, just kind of throwing these pieces in here. I got my egg bag all cleaned out. Dumping that into the trash right now. Just going to give my hand a quick wash. Again, you're seeing this raw and unfiltered. I mean, there ain't no editing here, as you can tell. Like, I'm trying to cut from scene to scene, but you can tell I can do this all pretty fast, pretty easy. Again, the egg bath, that's a step you do not want to skimp out on. So, and same with sealing the Ziploc bag. That's a disaster. You can see fish in the batter bag. Shake her up. Let's get a nice coating here. And again, I'm just doing all this in my sink just to minimize the disaster that can take place. But get a really good coating, and that's the nice thing about the different, like breadcrumbs, cornmeal, all that I got going on, is you're gonna end up with a really nice coating on your fish. They're gonna fry up really nicely. Looks like the fryer is just about ready. So I got these in the bag. I'm gonna go quick transport, and then I'm gonna end the scene here, just so that I can get all that taken care of, wash my hands, and then it's gonna go into the fryer, just like so. Okay, we're switching the angle up just a wee little bit. It's frying time over here. So, I'm gonna take my cover off, throw that over here. Always a good situation when I don't burn myself. I got the batter hot. Now it's time to just start throwing the fish in. Again, got some pretty good coverage. And I don't like using a lot of oil. That's like my biggest advice. Don't use a lot of oil, just barely enough. Most of the time I probably don't even use enough. I might not even for this video. So if these fish suck, that's going to be why, because I was pushing the envelope to make a point. Something I do maybe a little too frequently, but oh well. Oh well. So I'm just going to get all these pieces in. That is the drawback, though, is you get a lot of fish pieces, and they're going to fry up fast. That's another thing. You do not want your fish cooking too terribly long. You get some hot oil in there. You get some small pieces of fish. It's not going to take a lot of time to get everything ready to go. You can see I sprinkled just a little bit on, but got some pretty good coverage going on here. Not my best work, but I've never cooked before for an audience. So I have cooked before. That, again, may surprise many in the crowd. And I went a little bit heavy today on the batter. I usually wouldn't use as much, but again, for the sake of discussion and for the sake of the show and everything, and the fact that I didn't fine-tune it perfectly because I was trying to film, I got a little left over, but that's all right, because I mean, that batter, it's really not much when you factor in, it's just cornmeal, it's just breadcrumbs, and it can go on for quite some time. So I've got everything cooking up here. I'm using the maximum of my pan. I think I got one more piece. Two more pieces. I knew I had room for one more piece. That's all right. We're going to make this all work. And I just lay it nice and smooth in there. Now, there's that last piece. He was hiding from me. All right, we made it all work. So now, bread bag, all done. I do put it in the trash because this is where I'm going to drain all my oil into. Just making sure I got all my fish. Yep. So hand gets a little messy, but not too terribly bad. So I got my fish frying up here. You're going to see me wash my hands just real fast. I am really clean and nerdy and neurotic, by the way. That's something you'll learn about me. But now, before it's super fry time, I just dropped that. Oh well. I'm going to throw a little bit of this grandma's seasoning on these pieces of fish. You're going to see me kind of seasoning as we go here. That's how we make it wonderful. We got a good batter coverage. And then I'm also going to throw a little bit of this GPS on. This is a little bit coarser, so it doesn't stick as nicely in the frying pan, but I'll hit a little bit more once it comes out. All right. I'll get a quick shot of this super fast, and I'm going to cover it up. Right, we are in the frying pan. It is time to get it all covered up. So now at this point, I'm going to game plan a little bit here. I already got my paper towels on my plate. Big important part there. I got my seasoning. I got my fish. I got my spatula. I got a little bit of time. Not too terribly long, but again, they're looking and they're smelling amazing. We don't want too long in there now. All right, I'm going to start the flipping process now. Again, I'm going to actually flip my fish a couple times. The nice thing about how they're so small is that they're very easy to flip. If you got small fillets, and honestly these fish weren't very big, mostly 16 inches, that wouldn't be a problem. But when you get some of those big fillets, sometimes they're a little bit tougher to flip. Maybe your 18 to 18 inches or bigger. Some of those big awahi fish I have some struggles flipping. But yeah, the fish is looking pretty good. I do have it jam-packed full just because I was starving. Struggled with the... Oh, come on, Nick. You're doing it on camera now. Sorry, I got a little camera shy with the flip. Sometimes the circular pieces get a little tough to flip. That's why I don't mind flipping a few times. Get a good coverage for them. You will see, and this is what I've also learned, and this is why I cut it up, is because the fish will kind of curl up a little bit as you're frying, which not the worst thing in the world, but can be a little bit of a pain as you're trying to get it all flipped up. Some are cooked a little bit more thoroughly than others right now, but that's okay. I'm just kind of going to finagle that through the frying pan. So I've got everything flipped, and now it is time to get a little bit more seasoning on. Yeah, and this color is looking really nice. I'm getting a real nice golden brown. That's what we're going for. Your color of your fish is going to vary a little bit by your batter and your seasoning, so don't get like super wrapped up in that, but when you're cooking like this, that's absolutely something you're going to have to pay attention to. I'm super excited to try Grandma's seasoning. I've never tried that with fish before. That's why I make sure we get a little bit better coverage there to the fried oil. There we go. There we go. Super excited to try that. I'll get a quick check of how we look now, and we'll keep rolling. Oh yeah, things are coming along nicely. Can't screw it up now, Nick. It's on TV. All right, we're on to the final seasoning, and then it's time to start pulling it out. Now, once I am done, and I've just kind of kept it turning, I've kind of kept them moving around again. I probably did a few too many for this pan, but that's okay. This is kind of for show. Y'all can kind of see what I do. If you want me to make you fish sometime specifically, I bet I can do a little bit better job. But now I'm going to be ready to pat down. I want these babies as dry as possible. You're like, why is it dry, Nick? Because I don't want it greasy. And I got Grandma's fruit tequila sauce over here that I'm going to brush on. So we want it to be able to absorb all that tequila sauce. It is so good. Okay, quick video just for show. I'm about halfway done pulling them out. And then you can kind of see that I got a pat dry going on. Remember, when it comes to fish, flaky means no more bakey. So we're nice and flaky here. We're going to get these out. We're going to get everything dried off. And then it's going to get over to tequila time. Okay, now we're over here. And I'm making the transfer to another plate. Again, I just want to keep them as dry as possible. I do not like them sitting in that oil too long. Just give them nice, good pat downs. Sorry, the angle kind of stinks bad. That's my bad. I'm still working on being a good cooking person. I mean, I'm pretty good at the cooking part. I mean, I wish y'all could eat this so you could say for sure, but you're gonna have to try it yourself. That's kind of what I gotta say. All right, so I'm gonna get all this transferred on over here. Mostly transferred on over here. I might have to do one other thing. Quality assurance. Yep, it's hot. All right. It's very hot. All right. Grandma's fruit tequila sauce. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on. Just a little bit. All right. And now I take a brush, and I'm going to brush it on. And this fish is going to be ready. I'm going to do a quick camera change, and y'all will get to see it. All right, now you can kind of see. I'm just brushing that Grandma's fruit tequila sauce on. Makes it look a little damp, but I promise, it ain't grease. It's fruit tequila sauce. And this, you don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. When it comes to tequila sauce, you can kind of see the difference between the pans. I do think it is time to go eat. All right, and just like that, oh no, I'm gonna have to eat those now. This is what I was going for. Sorry my camera angles stink. I'm gonna deal with this. Go fishing. I'm eating.